we talk about the Spartan difference, one of the ways that we're a lot better are the floor joist system, okay? And it's a total system. Your floor joists work together with the subfloor, with the way that you screw the subfloor down, with the spans. So if you can think about it, I'm a fairly big guy. I'm 270 pounds. So what I want to do is when I walk through the home with somebody, I don't want it bouncing. And I'm sure that everybody's been in a home where they got a bouncy floor, or their neighbor or their mom and dad, somebody has a bouncy floor in your family that you know of. The builder used the cheapest way to build that floor system possible. And again, it passed code. There's nothing wrong with code except for the fact that it's a D-. We want to build to a better level. What we do is we start off like Weyerhaeuser TJIs is who we use for a floor system, and they have a pro rating system that basically says this is how stiff do you want the floor. I can guarantee 9 out of 10 builders in this area don't even know about that system. Don't even know about it. All they do is say, I want to be the least expensive floor. I don't want to spend $100 extra on that floor. I'm vice versa. I want to put about $1.25 to $2 a square foot at the most. That's a huge house on a very long span, okay? But we want to spend a little bit more to make sure that underneath the islands or the fireplace, when everybody's there at Christmas and grandma's cooking or mom's cooking at the island and there's 10 people in the kitchen standing at the island and the kids are roughhousing, that everybody's not mixing their own drinks. We want to make sure that it's as stiff as possible. You're always, if it's a floor joist system, you're always going to feel something, but you're not going to get a bounce, okay? You're not going to get cracks. So with the addition of, or in addition to the floor joist being stiffer, and that's designed by that's designed by a engineer at the building company that we buy all our supplies from. They're designing it with our draftsmen to make sure that we're meeting what we want to meet. But we also use, the next slide coming up is the subfloor that we use, which is Huber AdvanTech. And that is considered the best subfloor on the market so that it's not going to swell when it gets rained on. It's a lot stiffer. It's about twice as heavy, maybe even 3 times as heavy as something you can buy at Home Depot or Lowe's 3/4 inch OSB. It's a lot stiffer, stronger. The glue and the moisture resistant resin technology that they use with it keeps the water out. So it also, where they go together, it doesn't swell. So when we put hardwood or laminate, which is laminate tile is huge now, and you need a really almost laser level floor to put that on, we don't have to do a whole lot of sanding where everything is warped because it got rained on or swollen where it was sitting outside at the lumber yard before it even got to us. We're using the best products. We're using the best. AdvanTech makes a subfloor adhesive. It's not a glue, it's a foam, and it actually, when you use all the system together, you get what's called a squeak-free guarantee. So that's the reason that we're using the product. Again, when we're framing the home after we finished framing it, we're having the Huber rep come out. He's looking at the way we installed the AdvanTech and the zip system on the exterior, and he's making sure that we didn't do anything incorrect. Sometimes we have to add a screw or a nail, or I've never had to pull up a piece of plywood before because it was down wrong, but sometimes that we miss a nail and it's not 6 inches or 9 inches apart, and he says, hey, just add another one here. Not a problem. Again, I'd rather have that and the guarantee from the rep that we've done everything that we can do possibly to ensure that somebody doesn't have a problem with their subfloor or with their floor. One reason that we use Weyerhaeuser TJI and have it designed by a professional is because the span, everybody wants an open house, right? First floor. Everybody also wants the least amount of bearing walls or least amount of columns or beams or whatever in their basement also to keep it open. One way that we do that and keep the cost down, because you can certainly do floor joists that'll span a lot longer, but they're a lot more expensive and they have their own inherent problems, where we're using TJIs and we can give really long spans, but sometimes that means to get the bounce that I want, I have to go, say, from a 11 and 7/8 joist to a 14-inch joist, or some areas I may have to double up the joist. We're using this system so that we can have everything as open as possible. Most homeowners now, that's what they want. Some homeowners say they want a whole bunch of rooms or a whole bunch of bearing walls downstairs. Okay, if we know that up front, we can go ahead and design with smaller joists and save them even more money. Again, I'm going to say probably 50% of the basements that we pour are not finished. We're designing them up front to be finished at some point, and we don't know exactly where the homeowner wants to put the walls. We're saying, this is what we think you may want in the future. Do you want to change it? Most of them will say no. But when we go back, when we probably finish 2 basements a year for different people that we have worked with in the past, they hardly ever go with the same plan that we gave them because their life changed, or they saw a friend do this, or Pinterest said this, or whatever. So again, we're trying to design it to be as open as possible, again, without spending $1 million on the floor system, but we do spend a little more to give you a better quality.